Welcome, everybody, one more time to another episode here on the Sitrep podcast channel. I am your host, as always, Oriskany Jim, and here we go with another game system we're going to try and roll out to add to our Sitrep podcast portfolio, so to speak. So the system in question is 7 Days to the River Rhine by Great Escape Games. This game came really highly recommended to me by a really close friend of mine, Piotr. You all know him from the site and from our team. So not only does not only do he and I kind of look for the same things in war games, so we kind of agree on what games we like and what games we don't like. So when he recommended this, my ears kind of went up right off the bat. But then he would explain certain things to me, certain features that the game has, and that further cranked up my interest. And then on top of that, I bought the PDF and I read through the rules, and even on a first breeze through, I could tell right away that there were a lot of things I was going to like about the system. So we're going to try our first couple turns today. This is literally the first time I've ever tried this game. Please be gentle. I'm probably going to make a lot of rules mistakes. We're also not going to use all the rules, but I always find that the best way to learn a game is to play it anyway. So we're going to go ahead and try it out. So we switch over to Mr. Webcam here. Here we go. All right, here is our table for the evening. So, here we go. The table is roughly 6 by 5. I think it's a little bit smaller than that, but that's the general. It's like 5.5 by 5. It doesn't matter. It's roughly 6 by 5. We play in 15 millimeter. The game doesn't require you to play in 15 millimeter. However, they say that the authors of the game play in 15 millimeter, and as you can probably see, I've got like a whole bunch of 15 millimeter miniatures up there. So 15 millimeter is kind of the way to go, at least for me. So we are finally going to get to play my West Germans. So the West Germans are over here on this side of the table. Let me go ahead and see if I can get a little bit of a close-up on some of these guys. So I've got some Leopard 2s and some Martyrs and some infantry teams that are being carried in the Martyrs. So I've got let me check here. Three Leopard 2s and 2 Martyrs. Each Martyr is carrying an infantry squad. So a very small game. I think it comes out to 371 points. I know the book says you should play between like 500 and 1,000. Again, my first time ever trying this system. I am going with a very modest, not even 400 point total. Over here are the Soviets, because of course we have to have bad guys. Okay, now before anyone makes the joke, I'm going to go ahead and make it for you. We're playing 7 Days to the Rhine because Team Yankee, although a great game for larger battles, doesn't always give us everything that we need when it comes to smaller battles. And on these little 6x5 tables that some of us can, set up, or that some of us are limited to, when you set up a huge Team Yankee force, you wind up with the dreaded Team Yankee tank parking lot. Well, here we are, my very first turn with a system besides Team Yankee, and what do? I put my tanks in a literal parking lot. So, irony, right? So we got 3 T-80 U's, pretty much the best Soviet tank that they have in the sheets in the basic book. Trying to give the Germans a run for their money. They're 75 points apiece. 3 BMP2s. So I got 3 BMP2s, and 2 of those BMP2s are carrying rifle squads. One of them is carrying an anti-tank guided weapon support team. So none of these guys are actually in the vehicles yet. I just have them sort of set up nearby the vehicle so I know which team is in which vehicle. We're doing meeting engagement because it seems to be the simplest one. The simplest scenario type. So pretty much both spearheads are kind of colliding in a certain way. Let me go ahead and change this camera a little bit. All right. Yeah, that's showing the whole table. Cool. Let me get it a little closer. There we go. Now we pretty much have more of the whole table. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me check out Mr. Comments here. Oh, nothing really going on in the comments yet. Hello, Jen. Thanks very much. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try this out. If I make a rules mistake and you're familiar with this system, we have recently joined the official 7 Days to the River Rhine Facebook group. So if any of you guys are on the chat, let us know if we make a rules mistake. Normally, I am pretty solid on my rules mechanics, and I like to think I'm very solid on my history and my tactical realism and historical accuracy and all that stuff. However, in this game, I am, as the title suggests, the king of noobs. So if there's ever a time to ping me on something, this time it will be, it's going to be this time. Okay, so, oh, one last thing. Over there, on that little table area, you're going to see 3 shot glasses. Right, so those are ours. Well, 2 of them are Oriskany Jim, long story short, shot glasses from the Sitrep podcast, and then one of them is USS Midway, the museum ship out in San Diego. Those 3 shots are going to be hit when we knock out each T-80. So hopefully, we're going to get 3 shots in this episode, or maybe not. The Soviets could win, and we'll see what happens. I'd like to quickly say that. This is not a rule in the Great Escape game. Great Escape Games does not condone alcoholism. This is all the irresponsibility comes from the Sitrep podcast. All right, Mr. Chip is with us. Hello. Thanks for coming out. All right, so probably going to screw this up, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I know that initiative is usually a D10. However, the Great Escape rules for meeting engagement says that initiative on turn 1 of meeting engagement is a D6. Not entirely sure why that is. I guess it's like your turn 0 initiative. Both forces are part of larger formations that are already in motion. It's a dynamic battlefield, hence meeting engagement. So maybe that's what they're going for there. So I'm just going to go by what's in the book, because I don't know enough about the rules yet to make any changes, house rules, any of that stuff. This is chapter and verse, right out of the system. So, red for the Soviets, black for the Germans. And the Soviets start off with initiative on turn 1. So, according to the scenario rules, according to the scenario rules, all units are assumed to have moved. When you set them up within 12 inches of either table edge, all forces are assumed to have moved, because both battle groups are just now arriving. And, all right, cool. So, awesome. We'll go ahead and get started. All right, so let me get to my little turn sequence here. The first thing we do is we determine command tokens. So I'm using these clay poker chips as command tokens. The Soviets get 1 for each of their T-80s, 1 for each of their BMPs, or technically their infantry support teams. APCs that are carrying infantry and support teams, as I understand it, don't get their own command tokens. So that's a total of 6 so far. And then the commander, that's this Yahoo and back, with the commander actually in the turret, he gives 2 more command tokens. So the Soviets start off with a total of 8 command tokens. Also, there's just something morbidly satisfying about tossing around clay poker chips. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing that. I'll also continue to drop them on my hardwood floor, because reasons. All right. Germans, meanwhile, have 1 for each of their Leopard 2s. They have 2 Martyrs, or technically 2 rifle teams, mounted in Martyrs. The Martyrs aren't what actually gives you the command tokens, technically. And on top of all that, there is 1 German commander. So he adds 2 more command tokens to the team. German commander is here. Make sure you can actually see him there. He's the guy with an actual commander in the turret. Alright, so basically we're looking at 7 beginning command tokens versus 8 command tokens for the Soviets. Alright, so we kind of determined, per the scenario rules, again this isn't really the game rules, per the scenario rules we started off with the Soviets on initiative. So they're going to start off as the initiative player. So, what the Soviet player is going to try and do is kind of rush forward, I'm hoping. Again, I don't know if any of this is going to work because I'm not familiar with the system yet. But in general, I'm going to try and sweep forward and get some of this middle rough terrain here and use that as cover to maybe hit the Germans as they come up. So the Soviets, the T-80s, I'll move a T-80 first. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and spend a command token on, not the commander, one of his boys. That T-80 right there. Okay, actually I'll spend it on this one first, just to be simple. I'm going to spend it on that T-80. That T-80 is going to get activated. The Germans are going to try to interrupt because, yeah, so there's a lot of action and reaction kind of stuff here. So the Germans are going to try to interrupt with that Leopard, that first Leopard. Okay. So I guess I think you're supposed to declare like kind of where you're headed. So he's going to use the rapid movement. That's 20 inches. He's going to go out of the parking lot. He's going to turn. He's going to basically try to get up here somewhere. Let me see roughly how far that is. Of course, I can't find my tape measure. It's on the wrong side of the table. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so I kind of know where he's going to wind up at. German player says, I don't think so. I'm going to try. I'm going to spend a command token. I'm going to try to interrupt that. And I'm trying against... Oh, wait, I can't because I don't have line of sight on him. You have to have a line of sight on the vehicle before you can do... See, I already made my first rules mistake. You have to have line of sight on the vehicle before you can do an interruption. All right, so the Soviet player is going to go ahead and move. So using my little bendy tape measure here. Check MBT. Ooh, a fast MBT on road moves at 24. All right, cool. So this is going to use up both of his actions, and he's going to end up right pretty much there, kind of right where I want him. Awesome. That is his activation. All right, cool. So he's sitting there. Sweet. Soviets then go to activate another unit. So the Soviets are going to go ahead and use up all their activations until A, they run out of activations, B, they pass over initiative to the German player, or C, the German player seizes initiative with a 6 on a reaction roll. Okay, so the BMPs are going to try... I'm going to go ahead and activate this BMP here. If you guys can see that. Way over here, guys, way over here. I'm going to go ahead and try to activate that BMP. All right. He's going to have to cross this rough terrain. He's a tracked vehicle, so he needs a 2+ on a D6. If I'm reading that right. Movement, terrain test, tracked vehicle needs a 2+ on a rough. There's no very rough terrain on this table, really. So to cross this hedge, he's going to need a 2+. And I almost knocked over my telegraph pole there. Okay, so he makes it over that first one. Then he's going to have to cross this bush as well. So he's going to have to make another 2+. Oh, he fails. All right, so he gets hung up in that brush and he has to stop. So I'm pretty sure you cross the terrain. If it's like a wall or a hedge, you cross the terrain if you fail the roll, and then you stop. So he's kind of stuck right there. He's going to go ahead and disembark his rifle team. That's his second action. I should say this BMP2 was not using the rapid movement rate because he wanted to disembark. All right, so you have to set up your little infantry team within like 1 inch of your of your vehicle when you disembark. All right, so that's his token used up. Okay, this guy here that's carrying the anti-tank team, I'm going to try. Well, he doesn't really have good line of sight there. You can see through all these little bushes and hedges. It's just going to add negatives. So this table might be a little bit more open than it looks. Also, the T-80s and the Leopard 2s all have thermal sights. So that's going to help a lot. The BMPs and infantry don't, though. So. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and make this crossing check. He's going to kind of wheel around a little bit. He's going to try and get right about here. Oops. No, he's blocked by that corner there. I'm seeing if that Leopard 2 there can make a reaction. Hopefully you guys see everything I'm pointing at. So before I move this BMP, I was just checking to see if that Leopard 2 can react. But technically there's no decent line of sight. Alright, so I'm going to spend him on him. He's going to have to cross that hedge. He breaks it with a 3. Regular movement for an APC is 12, because he's not using rapid and he's not on a road. So, cool, 12 inches. That's what she said. Alright, so he makes it to not quite where I wanted him. Alright, so that BMP-2 is going to be right there. He's going to sort of hug the building, sort of establish a field of fire in case these Leopard and this Martyr pop out. He's going to deploy his anti-tank team. Again, within 1 inch of his 1 inch of the vehicle. So that's him done. Actually, now that I look at it, again, I'm still used to the rules. Hedges don't block line of sight, do they, guys? I don't think they do. I think they count as, like, cover. And if 50% of the vehicle is, you can't see it. And anyway, a thermal sight kind of blocks that. So I'm going to go ahead and make that call. If I'm wrong, let me know. Oh, neat, you have to call your shots like in pool. Table looks good. Thanks very much, Chip. Don't worry about the typos. I do that constantly. Okay, so... you know what? This guy's already gone, so I'm not going to go ahead and screw up the turn sequence. All right, I'm just going to hurry up and finish up the Soviet movement here. He's going to have to cross... I didn't really deploy him right. He's going to have to cross a hedge right off the bat. So he can cross a hedge. What should I do? Should I concentrate the Germans? I should say the Soviets. Yeah, I'm going to try and concentrate the Soviets. Okay, I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to activate this guy here. And again, with road movement rate, he is going to have a 24-inch movement. So he's going to wind up pretty much right next to his buddy there. He is going to go through the little gateway there in the parking lot, marked by those beautiful trees. That great German horticulture. And we'll see if he doesn't have to make any roll, he just does it. Let me know if his setup works for you guys. Because if it does, as far as, the camera and everything else, you get more table and less corners. If it does, yeah, we'll do more of these streams like this in the future. I know you guys get tired of looking at X Encounter virtual games all the time. They're great, but I don't want to do them constantly. Okay, now this clown here, he is going to have to cross. We'll make it 2 hedges. He's going to go right across that highway. He's going to plow through both of those hedges. So the first one, he makes it no problem. The second one, he gets hung up on the second one. All right, the Germans catch a break. The Soviet equipment kind of shits the bed again. Cool. Last but not least, that's his activation. Last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and activate that last BMP over there. So that BMP is going to move his 12 inches. And set up a little infantry team. He's going to wind up right behind these two trees if he makes this crossing check. So he needs a 2+. Hell, dude, the Russians suck, man. He gets hung up here. Brr. He'll go ahead and disembark because why not? It's a little rifle team. Alright, cool. And now we will... Okay, that was his activation. Soviets still have initiative. You can activate a unit more than once. So guess what? Let me get the camera up so you can see better what's going on here. Okay. These T-80s, or at least one of those T-80s, is going to go ahead and fire at that mortar. He does have line of sight. He'll have to take penalties for shooting through that. Although, again, he's got thermal sights. I think he gets to ignore that. This stuff here obscures the 50% vehicle, or I should say activates the 50% vehicle rule. So normally there's a penalty for that. However, these guys have the thermal sight special. I think he gets to ignore that. You know, if I get anything wrong in this game, please let me know. Cool, so I'm going to go ahead, drop another counter on him. I'm going to activate him again. I have to roll for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. The roll for reactivating again. Of course, I don't have it here. Hold on, guys. Let me look this up super fast. So you're able to activate things again in 7 days to the River Rhine. However, there is a... Okay, Mark has... Okay, I'm reading the example here on page 8. Mark has already activated a Chieftain MBT this turn, indicated by a command token next to the tank. If the Mark wants to activate it again, he needs to perform a test. He needs to roll 2+. Anything but... Okay, so you have to roll... the player must score higher than the number of activations the unit has already had, plus any morale markers. He has no morale markers assessed against him so far. So basically, this Soviet tank has to roll a 2+ on a D6 to activate again. He rolls a 1, he fails. Oh my god. Okay, last activation. Actually, I'm going to save. The Soviets are going to save their one last activation because there's something called battle group. Battle group morale. So I'm going to go ahead and save my last activation. The Soviet player passes initiative voluntarily over to the German player. He's going to keep one activation token in the bank. Alright, cool. Hedges block line of sight. I mean, especially when you're only 5 feet tall. Oh, Jamie. There's always a joke. And yes, we're not talking about British, or I'm sorry, we're not talking about French hedgerows. Almost every war game makes a difference between hedges and hedgerows. Hedgerows are something very, very different. Hedgerows definitely block line of sight. I certainly wouldn't use these little strips of doormat to signify a hedgerow. Good grief. You see here clearly the T-80s are shooting right over the top of that hedgerow or hedge, and the T-80 is not exactly a tall tank. Okay, so now over to the Germans. Germans have 7 activations. I don't want to move. Again, because if the second I move, he might spend his last activation to try and reactivate this BMP and put a missile in my face. So I think he can do that anyway. Okay, the Russian, okay, so this Leopard, hope you guys can see that, barely, way down here at the bottom. He's going to go ahead, there's a Leopard here, and just off camera, there is a, over here, guys. And then just behind him, there's a Martyr you can't quite see. So, he sees right across here, the only intervening terrain is like hedges and bushes and stuff. Obscuring terrain, not blocking terrain. So, because he has the thermal rule, I'm pretty sure he can't ignore that. He's going to target this BMP who got stuck here in this hedge. That's not where the BMP wanted to wind up, clearly. Luckily, he disembarked his infantry. Technically, I think he could have activated before. No, because I didn't have line of sight on him at the start. It doesn't matter. It's already done. All right, so I'm going to activate that Leopard 2. I'm going to declare that I'm taking a shot. I'm going to fire and move, because you're allowed to do that. Unlike Battle Group, you're not allowed to fire twice. So I'm going to fire and normal move. So I'm going to do the fire first on the BMP. The BMP is going to attempt an interruption action with his last battle token, and he's going to try and fire his missile at me first. So he sees that big 120 millimeter hole of death pointing right at him. He says, "Oh, hell no. Glory for the motherland. I got to do something before he, absolutely jungles me with that." Well, he's probably only using a heat round. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and fire, and he's going to, this BMP is going to try to interrupt that with his own missile fire. So here we go with, again, he's only had one activation before that. No casualty, no morale markers assessed against him, so he only has to roll a 2+. Okay, that's like the 5th one in a row the Russians have rolled. You guys see this, right? It's right on camera. Alrighty. The Russians are in for a bad day. Alright, so that's clear for Mr. Leopard. Mr. Leopard now takes a shot. Let's measure the range. Alright, guys, the first shot of 7 days to the River Rhine. Here we go. 34 inches. So more than 12, basically. The range is pretty much unlimited, but I just want to check and make sure that there's no modifiers or anything like that for chances to hit. I roll 1d10 for anti-tank gun or anti-tank. Okay. Versus vehicle. 4+ is the Leopard 2's chance to hit. Leopard 2 hits on a 4+. I'm looking at the stats now. Here are all my stats. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to read some of this. So basically I took a lot of stuff from the quick reference sheet. I took the stats and I pretty much made myself a little cheat sheet for the scenario here. I'm not sure how well that's focusing. Probably not very good. But I'm looking at the 4+ for the Leopard 2 to hit. I have thermal sights. So I think he gets to ignore partial terrain and obscuring smoke and things like that. So he stays at a 4+. He has not yet moved, so he doesn't get that penalty assessed against him. Let me check the other modifiers. Vehicle move this action. Reaction versus a moving target, nope. Because the BMP is done moving. Unit is in terrain, 50%, however thermals ignore. Enemy infantry, support teams within 12 inches, ignore if friendly. Nope, there's no enemy infantry, no anti-tank guided missiles, no morale for the firing unit. It's a 4+ on a D10. And apparently rolling on this table is not doing very well, at least not for my Soviets. So I'm going to try and make things a little easier by actually rolling in a box like a grown-up. Alright. So 4+. Let me get the camera down so you guys can see what's going on here. Alright. 4 plus. Mr. Leopard 2, does he do it? Get it in the box. Can I take that 10? I'm going to get it in the box. 7. Boom! See that? Even when Oriskany doesn't cheat, he still wins. Even though I'm playing both sides, so it's impossible to lose. But anyway, okay, Leopard 2 has now hit Mr. BMP. Epic. That's going to hurt, like, a lot. Okay, so firing, penetration and damage versus vehicles. Hit by a weapon where, now, correct me if I get this rule wrong, everybody. I'm trying to read the rule as best I can. If the gun plus 10 equals more than the vehicle's armor, in other words, the vehicle could potentially be destroyed by the weapon it was hit, which, yes, that definitely applies. Automatically assesses, let me get my morale markers out. Automatically assesses 1 morale marker against the vehicle. They realize they just got hit by a 120 millimeter armor-piercing shell. Those Soviets aren't feeling too good right now about the whole idea of Marxist-Leninism. So, okay, then you roll 1d10 plus the weapon. The weapon has an 11. So now I have to roll a d10 plus 11. That was only a 2. It wasn't that solid of a hit. But that's still 13. Okay, 13 points was the total. 13 points was the total against the BMP's armor, which, wait for it, on the front is only an 11. So even with a crappy roll, it still manages to kill the BMP. Because the penetration roll was higher than the front armor. The penetration roll does not equal the armor. You put this marker on them. If it ties, it really shakes up the crew. You max out the vehicles. You put a bunch of morale markers on there until it equals the vehicle's total morale. That didn't happen even with a 2. 2 plus 11 is 13. And the BMP's armor on the front is only 11. So technically I couldn't have missed, now that I think about it. Even if I roll a 1 plus the Leopard 2's 11 armor penetration value equals to 12, which automatically penetrates. Then again, 120 millimeter, probably some sort of sabot round against the BMP's armor. I mean, the BMP is basically a lunchbox on tracks. It's a hearse for people who haven't quite died yet. So that's his BMP smoked. There you go, John. Your first poof of the game. Okay. Don't worry about that morale marker because he's very dead. All right, now we see if he explodes or if he just kind of brews up. Because that's important. It's going to affect his morale. That infantry squad that's already bowed out is going to affect their morale. 5, he blows up. Boom! He blows up. These guys just took a morale hit. Because they are hearing people screaming and uselessly alive as they're burned to death in fuel and ammunition and missile propellant and God knows what else. Nobody dies well in a tank or an APC. Trust me. And these guys are close enough to see it. So the rule is within 4 inches, in a vehicle catastrophic explosion, which is normally a 5 up for the Soviets. It's always a 4 up, because Soviet vehicles aren't built terribly safe. That means that, the tank doesn't just shudder to a stop and start smoking. It blows up all over the battlefield. And these guys literally just saw that. So technically, they've taken a little bit of morale damage from that. Okay, so that's his first part of his activation. He's going to go ahead and take the rest of his turn. All right, so even though now he cannot use rapid movement, he can only use regular movement. He can't even use rapid movement. He has a fast MBT. He has a movement of 12. And that's his activation. Okay. Martyrs have anti-tank guided weapons on them. You can't quite see him yet, but there he is. But with an anti-tank guided weapon, he can't really move and shoot at the same time. Anti-tank guided weapons, another great thing the game does. I'm not going to talk too much about the rules like a review because I don't know the rules enough to give a review, but one thing I definitely like already, one of 20 things I like already about 7 Days to the Rhine, you can't move and shoot missiles at the same turn. He's going to do a move and embark, so he's also 12 inches. He's going to be very simple. I want him right up against that hedge, and he dismounts his infantry team. Make sure they're all within an inch. I mean, normally with infantry teams, they're all on a base, and you want that base to be within 1 inch of the vehicle, so it's fine. Okay, I realize now the Soviets probably should have saved some activations. I think the Soviets, because I don't know really the rules that well yet, I think the Soviet plan worked in exact reverse. The Germans, the Soviets were trying to set up to where, yeah, I used up all the Soviet activations. I screwed up the Soviet turn. The whole point of the Soviet plan was to seize kind of the center of the battlefield and fire at the Germans as they were forced to come up. That didn't happen because I didn't save enough command tokens. Now the Germans are going to get to move up basically for free, and using move and fire rules, they're going to get all the first shots. Oh well. I have literally screwed up already, but that's okay. Well, let's just slaughter some more Soviets, man. I mean, come on. Commander. Is that on camera? Yes. All right, Commander. He's going to catch this road, snaking around this dirt road. He's going to peek around this corner, and he's going to take a pot shot at this fool, who is not the commander. Cool. So I'm going to take a move and fire order. He can barely make it. All right, there you go. That's awesome. You get that on camera. So he's going to take a move and fire order, and he's going to try and take a poke at this Soviet tank down the street there. Again, there is some intervening terrain in the way, but that tree, first of all, that tree's not really in the way. Where the hell is my pointer? I literally don't know what the hell I did with that. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, hell, here it is. Yeah, so he's shooting past that tree anyway. And after that, it's just hedges. And again, hedges are obstructing terrain. Or I should say, concealing 50% terrain, not obstructing terrain. So I think the Leopard's thermal sight gets to ignore that. I'll catch up with the comments as soon as I get done with this. The Soviets would love to respond, but I used up all their command tokens. So now it's just going to be another 4+ to see if the... Now, ideally, this Leopard would move a little bit further and go for a flank shot, but that was literally 12 inches. He made it like literally by the millimeter. So again, we're looking for a 4+ for the German player. Oh wait, he has moved. So remember, this Leopard fired and then moved. this leopard moved and then fired. So this leopard is going to have to take a -1 penalty to his die roll. Okay, so this guy's going to have to shoot at a 5+, not a 4+. Is there a lot of fan and air conditioning noise? Okay. All right, so here comes a 5+, hopefully. 6. Okay, he did make it. That is going to be 11 points plus 10 is 21. That is nowhere near powerful enough to be an automatic kill. Shooting at BMPs and shooting at T80 BUs, T80Us are two very, very different ideas. However, again, his 11 plus 10 does exceed his total, so he is taking a morale marker. In other words, he did hear it. He did hear the clang on the side of the turret. Cool. Now we'll see if it actually penetrates. 11. The Soviets' frontal armor is an 18. So I'm going to have to roll a 7+ to get through that armor. Alright, it's a little bit different. Shooting at T-80s versus shooting at the BMPs. A 4. Ping! That becomes a 15 versus the 18, the Soviets' 18 special armor. That's with some sort of Contact 5 reactive armor on the outside. It doesn't really apply here. It applies versus anti-tank guided weapons. Just a footnote to remember that the Soviets do have special armor on these tanks. So, failed. Now let me see if I got this right. Shooting against vehicles. Roll. Okay, so damage versus vehicles. Roll a hit by weapons fire. Okay. 1d10 plus the weapon is definitely less. No additional effect. Okay, cool. So he just got that armor. That morale factor put on him. Okay, cool. The Germans are going to try and activate him again. Because of course they are. That's the commander, man. Commander says, do it again, Sam. He has one additional command. He had one command token already put on him, so I have to roll a 2+. Again with a 1. Nobody wants to go twice this turn. Germans do it again. Okay, boom. I'm going to shoot again. Boom. That's going to be another 5+. 9, that's a hit. And then for penetration, a 6. Oh, I came so close. 6 plus 1, 6 plus 11 is 17. 17 does not beat 18. That is, however, going to be another morale token. Okay. The Germans have 2 command tokens left. They've only got 2 vehicles left. So clearly, Leopard 2, Martyr over there. The Martyr's going to take a move and embark, or disembark, I should say. The Leopards are going to take a move and fire, probably against the same tank. I want to see if I can chase that guy off the battlefield. What's the morale on a T-80? The morale on a T-80 is... 5. Alright, so I probably won't chase him off with morale, but... Like, you basically just keep hammering at the tank until the crew just gives up and runs. Anyway, let me go ahead and move these 2 units. Excuse me. Ooh, except... Damn. If I just go across here and open fire on these 2 T-80s, I'd better kill them. Because if I don't, I'm going to be facing down the throats of 2 T-80s at me next turn. What the hell. Come on, Leopards, do it! He has to make a check to get to get across that hedge. For crying out loud, I threw clean off the table. 6, he makes it with no problem. He's going to take a fire order. This infantry team, he's also going to have to make the same roll and disembark his infantry right here. He also makes the terrain check. Partially obscure me. Again, it won't help against the T-80s who also have thermal sights, but those BMPs have missiles. And they do not have thermal sights. So I gotta watch out for them. Why is there a bush on top of the building? Sorry about that. Built this table in kind of a hurry yesterday. These infantry are going to be inside this building, so they get cover. But this building doesn't really... Here you go. They're inside the building. Alright. So that wraps up the German... Oh wait, I gotta go ahead and shoot that leopard. Okay, that leopard is going to fire at that same T-80 that keeps getting the hell beat out of him. Even if I don't kill him, all those morale markers are going to make it very hard for that T-80 to shoot back at me next turn. Because the morale markers that you have on you count towards, count as penalties, count as penalty modifiers against your fire. Okay, so let me fix the camera here because I keep knocking it around. That's a terrible view. Hold on one moment, guys. Our first live stream from this table, so hopefully that's a little bit better. All right, let me hurry up, finish this up. This will conclude turn 1, and then I'll catch up on the comments. All right, so Leopard 2, number 3, needs a 4 up. Boom, he does get it. Come on, give me a good roll to penetrate. 10! Brew up, baby! There it goes. So that was the number to hit. That was the number to penetrate the armor. So that's 21 total. Blackjack, baby! You know what that means. That is a destroyed Soviet tank. Does he explode, or does he just kind of, smoke and shudder and kind of burn out? Okay, he just kind of smokes and shudders and burns out. So, same game effect. That's another eliminated unit. Don't have to worry about those morale markers anymore. And it does not do morale damage to other units around him. Boom! Sweet. Alright, you know what that means, guys. One T-80 has been hit and exploded. I keep bumping into this camera. Long story short, sweet taste of victory. Every T-80 that gets blown up, I do a shot. Alright. Oh, man. That's 80 proof Southern Comfort, too. Alright. So that concludes the turn. Let me go ahead and check out the comments. Oh, cool. Just more poofs and big bada booms. He's having what some might call a bad day. Oh, the Russian player? Yeah, I also screwed up how the Russian player uses battle tokens. So if the Russians lose this game, it's because their senior lieutenant is like a brand new guy. This marker stays. That's a ongoing. Oh wait, he got blown up. Oh no, that's for the infantry team. So that stays there. He's burning. No morale assist against the Germans yet. Damn it. Dropping stuff all over the table. Did I get them all? Yes. Alright, cool. So we're going to start a new turn. Step 1 of turn 2 is assess how many battle tokens everyone still has. Or I should say command tokens. You get 1 for each unit, not counting APCs. Infantry team 1, that's hiding in that building. Leopard, Leopard, Leopard. Infantry team 2, and the commander is still in the fight. He has the same 7 command tokens. Soviet player, not so much. He still has an infantry team, so the BMP didn't count for his command tokens anyway. So he gets one for the infantry team. Support team, tank. The tank that's burning doesn't get one for that. Also, that was not the commander. Him, the BMP that stalled, and the commander is still in it. He gets 2 more. So this 8th command token, the Soviet player has lost. Soviet player is down to 7. German player has 7. So the Soviets have lost their narrow edge in command tokens. Sweet. Next, determine initiative. Now we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. 1 D10 per side for the Soviet player. 2 for the German player. A 10. German player wins initiative. The German player is going to start with initiative because all my tanks are basically in firing position. It's time to just continue firing. So, sweet. So the German player is going to play his first counter. I'm going to play it on this martyr. That martyr is going to do a move and shoot order. Now, the Soviets actually, because the Soviets have smartened up a little bit, the Soviets actually have some tokens they're going to use. I am going to try to react. He does have line of sight on a vehicle. It's obscured, so there's a penalty for that. So reactions versus a vehicle that's obscured, the Soviets have to roll a 4+. This anti-tank team is going to try and fire on that martyr as the martyr crosses that edge. A 5. He does succeed on his activation order. Good job. Uh-oh, the Germans might actually take a loss here. So as I do my little movement, boom, he opens fire with his, what do they call it? It's an anti-tank guided weapon. All right, so he's going to go ahead and take a shot. I have to shoot before he gets within 12 inches. So one of the great things about 7 Days to the River Rhine by Great Escape Games is there is no real range in most cases. However, there is such a thing as a minimum range. Some weapons cannot engage once you get too close. The warhead doesn't arm, the mortar shell doesn't drop that fast. There are certain weapons in the game that you cannot fire once they get too close. Anti-tank guided weapons, saggers, spandrels, tows, alans, swing fires, all this stuff definitely applies. I think the TOW 2, the improved version of the TOW 2, reduces that to practically 0, but back in the 80s, yeah, the original TOWs definitely had a minimum range. So I want to make sure I'm outside of 12 inches, so I am good. All right, now he does not have thermal sights, so he will have to pay for this terrain that's in the way, and he will also have to pay for shooting at a moving target. So that's going to be 2 points. Soviet anti-tank guided weapon system hits on a 4+. However, again, there are 2 points worth of penalties. 1 for terrain, 1 for shooting a moving target, equals a total of... Excuse me, sorry about that. I tried to suppress it. He's going to go ahead and take a shot. He needs a 6 up on a D10. A 10! Okay, the Soviets seem to be doing a little bit better now. Alright, so an AT-4, I think that is, hits that martyr. That's not good. Germans, your free ride is over. You're actually, the Russians are actually shooting live ammunition at you. Okay. We are looking at penetration versus vehicles. Okay, so what's the penetration value on a anti-tank guided weapon? It's a high explosive or a heat round. The mortar does not have special chobum, laminate, reactive armor, anything like that. So that 10H doesn't matter. It's just a straight out 10. 10 plus 10 is 20, which is way more than the mortar's armor. So the mortar automatically takes a morale token. Number 1. Okay, now we'll see if the weapon actually penetrates the frontal armor of the mortar. Frontal armor on the mortar is 9. Wow. I think the mortar's toast automatically. Martyrs. Oh, frontal armor is 12, so he's mostly dead. Soviet rolls a 10, or sorry, rolls a D10 plus 10. A 5 plus 10 becomes 15. That exceeds the frontal armor of the martyr. Martyr is toast. Does the martyr brew up? No, it does not. It is, however, KO'd. Oh no! Alright, so that does not affect the morale of the infantry team. Okay, that could have gone better. Time for the Germans to continue their activation. Let's have an infantry shootout, just see how that works. Oh, damn. What's infantry rapid movement? Oh, that is rapid movement on roads. Never mind. And normal movement is only 6. Alright, I'll do that. Damn you blew up our ride, fool! Again, some obscurity. That cover doesn't count. They're shooting over that. There's a little bit of obscuring cover in between them, so the Germans will have to pay for that. Am I more than 12 inches away still? Because there is a limit on small arms fire. Oh wait, there is no limit on small arms fire if I didn't move. Oh, stationary infantry, never mind. Versus infantry or support team at, oh, there is no bonus. There's a bonus if I stayed still. Yeah, there is no penalty. An assault rifle will reach that far. The MG3 machine guns the Germans are carrying will reach that far. The M240s, whatever they call them, will reach that far. It doesn't do as well as if they were closer. So I get only 1 D10. Germans are going to fire on this infantry team. That morale marker is for the martyr, not for the infantry team. That is kind of important. Okay, so... Okay, I've never done infantry versus infantry before. Any hits... Okay, so what's the small arms to hit on the German infantry team? 5 plus... Okay, so the Germans start at a 5 plus to hit. However, units in terrain, 50%, thermals ignored. They don't have thermal sights, so that's now a 6 plus. Enemy infantry support teams within 12. Okay, so it's going to be a 6 plus for the Germans to hit with their small arms and machine guns. A 6, they barely made it. Alright, so that's a hit. That automatically does another morale damage to that infantry squad. Their BMP blew up right next to them. Their commander inside the vehicle is still screaming as he burns alive. Just to make sure that we know what we're talking about here. And now they're getting fired up by German infantry, who are still pissed off about the way the Battle of Stalingrad turned out. Not many people know that. Actually, what many people don't know, this guy right here, that's Sergeant Steiner's grandson. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. So the Cross of Iron, that brief scene in the movie where James Coburn hooks up with that nurse, has a little tryst. That nurse winds up getting pregnant, has a son. That son has a son about 1960. Now in 1985, that son is a sergeant in the Bundeswehr, age 25, and he's kicking ass on Soviet infantry. He's like, remember my grandpa, bitches. Alright, so now we're going to see what happens. Alright, so infantry fire gets a little... I just want to make sure I get all the details right. Any hits automatically place 1 morale marker. We did that. Then you roll 1d6 for each hit scored. I scored 1 hit. I roll a d6 and see if I can convert that hit into an additional morale marker. Infantry moving, I roll at greater than 12 inches. I roll 1d10. He is in cover. I need a 5+. Yeah, the charts in this game are great. Once you get familiar with them, it's pretty straightforward. I'm just not familiar with the game. So I'm hoping I'm not making the game seem slow or cumbersome. This is literally, like the title says, a noob's first couple of turns. So I've already hit him. I've done a little bit of damage. I'm trying to do a little bit extra damage, but I need a 5+ because Soviets do have cover. I roll 2 so I don't get it. Alright, so that's going to be it for that activation. Does that... Well, he's definitely got range. I don't know why I'm measuring range. I'll tell you this much already, guys. I don't think you measure range much in this game, because in 1980s, you've got your weapons tend to reach pretty far. Okay, he already has line of sight. He does not have to move. So I'm activating his S. He attempts to counter-activate. He attempts to counter-activate. Okay, so a vehicle that did not move. I do have some cover. So react against a vehicle that's in cover. React against a vehicle that's in cover. 4+. The BMP needs a 4+ to activate. Fails. And that command token, yes, is still spent. He attempts. 6. Another missile is going to fly down range and hit that Leopard before the Leopard gets a chance to shoot. Okay, so that thing hits on a 4+. I'm not moving, so you don't assess a penalty against the Soviet anti-tank gunner for that, or missile crewman for that. However, there is some terrain, and they don't have thermal sights. So I will have to now roll a 5+ to hit. A 6. This guy is the MVP so far. He blew up the mortar, he immediately reloaded, and now he's putting an AT-4 into the face of that Leopard. Unfortunately, that Leopard has 18 special armor. And here's a great rule. Here's a rule I love. I wish I had thought of it. I wish I put it in all my games. I wish I could say I'm not going to steal it, but I'm totally going to steal it. How fire damage works versus special armor. How missile, heat weapons, high explosive anti-tank, HESH rounds, basically anything except for a sabot round, penetrator rod kind of a thing, works against enhanced, air quotes, armor. That's going to be laminate, reactive armor, Chobham. I also love how the game sidesteps around the issue whether or not the Leopard 2 actually carries Chobham armor, because people have been arguing about that for decades. This game, it's not an issue. It's got special armor. Now, granted, this makes Chobham just as good as ERA, just as good as Contact 1, just as good as Contact 5, just as good as all the other special armors that's out there, just basic laminate armor that you see as early as, I think, the never mind, I was about to say something stupid. Earlier tanks, but the game can get around that by just giving it a higher number. So it quells a lot of arguments at the table. However, what's going to happen here is he's going to go ahead and roll, but because he has a high explosive type weapon, some sort of shape charge, which special armor is distinctly and specifically designed to defeat. So the Germans are going to get that bonus. All that means, and how the game handles it, you roll his penetration twice and take the worst result. So, we're going to get 2 d10s. It's a 10 versus 18. I'm probably not going to beat it. I need a 9 or a 10. And, oh my god. So this thing has a penetration of 10H. H stands for high explosive. He has an 18S. S is for special. So I have to roll twice and take the worst result. In order for mine d10 to beat his 18, I have to roll a 9 or 10 basically twice on 2d10. You never know. The odds are literally 1 in 25. How useless are Soviet anti-tank missiles? Wait until he gets on the flank or the rear. But for now, let's see what happens. He hits halfway there. That 10 would have done it. However, because of the special armor rule, I have to use that 2. That 2 becomes a... Oops. First of all, I have to automatically put a morale marker on. Because 10 plus 10 equals 20, which exceeds 18. However, that 2, I have to use that 2. That 2 becomes 12, and 12 does not beat 18. So, however, that did cost the Soviets quite a bit of command tokens. They only have 4 left. Okay, and all that was before he shoots at the BMP. So now let's finally get to that. He shoots at the BMP. The only thing left is, the only thing in the way is partial cover, which he gets to ignore because of thermal armor, thermal sights. So he's looking for a 4+. He hasn't moved yet, so he doesn't get a -1 penalty for that. 4+. 9. Boom! And we already know what happens when a BMP gets hit by a 120 millimeter shell. Does he brew up? Yes, he does, because of the Soviet special vulnerability rule. He explodes. The turret ends up over here on the roof. How you like that? And this guy takes a... Actually, don't do that. Move this off to the side so I don't get confused. He's taken 2 actions so far, and he has a morale bonus now. Or a morale damage assessed against him now. Alright, kaboom and kaboom. He's going to go ahead and move now. I have to make a crossing check. He barely makes it. He got stuck there for a second there, but the gunner gave it a little bit of juice. I'm keeping an eye on this fool over here. He was bogged down last turn. This turn he might swing around and take a shot at me. I want to be ready for him. The Germans are going to save some of their activations. Okay, speaking of which, he's moved. Oh, wait! He did have a penalty. I had to make a +1 penalty for his morale check, but I still made it. I needed a 5+. I think I rolled... What did I roll, Jen? Do you remember? Or you weren't watching? Jen wasn't watching. That's my support team, guys. I don't remember what I rolled there, but I'm pretty sure it was above a 5. But just for the notes, that morale marker that he took from being hit by that anti-tank weapon does count. The crew does get a little rattled when that happens. So the Germans only have 3 morale markers left. And I want to literally save one. This tank is definitely going to shoot. This guy is going to spend an activation marker to interrupt that if he can. I'm going to shoot at you first. Let's see if he makes it. Obscured tank, he needs a 4+. He fails. Germans are getting lucky on the dice. So that command token is still spent. It is a little bit of a push your luck kind of a mechanic. He's going to go ahead and take a shot at that second T-80 back there. So put him there. And now I need a 5+. He has no morale assessed against him. He hasn't moved yet. So he needs a 5+. No. 4+. 6. Boom, he hits. Now, again, frontal armor on a T-80 with special armor. 18. First of all, automatic morale marker. And because his weapon does 11. 11 plus 10 is 21, which exceeds 18. Yeah, okay, so automatic hit on morale. Now, does he actually penetrate the armor? So in other words, the reason for that rule, guys, this infantry team has like, whatever, well, that's a bad example. But say you have like a vehicle that has like, a little small automatic cannon on it. It has a total of 6 attack. 6 plus 10 only equals 16. A Leopard's armor is 18. It's literally impossible for that gun to ever penetrate the armor. When you hit with that gun, it does not affect enemy morale, which I like. It's one of the few things that gets on my nerves sometimes about Battle Group. It doesn't happen often, but players can spam your tanks with fire that's never going to get in, but every time you force that tank to make that check, it causes a morale check, and that crew could bail. Which I guess kind of makes sense for World War II. That's how Tiger 131 gets captured. It gets hit by that 6-pounder gun right on the turret face, which is never going to get through. Nevertheless, the crew panics and bails out of the tank when there's no reason to. I mean, I sort of get it. However, that's supposed to be like a once-in-a-while thing. Once certain players get that into their head, they do that all the time, especially with autocannons, and it gets annoying. This game kind of sees that coming and says, oh, no, you can't do that. That's cheating. The crew, when they hear machine gun bullets bouncing off the turret, they know those machine gun bullets aren't getting in, ever. It doesn't, they might get a chuckle, but they're not going to freak out. They're not going to take any morale penalties. Which in real life, this is where I'm going to sort of argue against myself. In real life, like you see it in movies, why is he spraying that charging tank with a machine gun? He knows he's never going to. If it forces the commander to button up, that's the thing. But we're not going to get into that. It's sort of a constant tug of war with rule systems. When you force a commander to button up, that tank's effectiveness drops by at least a half. The Army's really wars prove that. So there is a point to spraying tanks with ineffectual fire. Also, you might knock out periscopes, headlights, radio antenna, smoke grenades. You might do something. But anyway, got off on a little bit of a tangent there. He does a total of 11, or the D10 plus 11. I got to beat an 18. So basically, I need a 8, 9, or 10. Oh no, maybe I'll get lucky. Come on, Germans. Do it for Sergeant Steiner. 7. Oh, that is close. And I'm actually glad this happened. All right, so that's a 7, guys. Hopefully you guys can see that without the little glare there. Okay, now it rolled over. Anyway, that was a 7. So what that means is that I'm exactly tied. 7 plus that Leopard's 11 becomes 18. That is exactly what that tank gets. That's exactly what that tank gets for armor. The special armor does not help against anti-tank guns, firing presumably Sabo ammunition. So how this works is you fill up his morale. You max out his morale. That crew is so freaked out because that Sabo round damn near came through the tank. It probably wounded somebody inside. It blinded them. It blew off all their reactive armor. That reactive armor blew up all their cameras, all their periscopes, their machine guns. They know they are screwed up. And that tank is hurting for certain. So at T80, and that happens when you exactly tie the armor rating. T80 has a morale of 5. I just looked it up. He already has 1. I'm going to put 4 more morale markers on him. He is now maxed out on morale. And that's the commander, too. Holy crap. So, once a tank or any unit exceeds its total morale points, it's considered destroyed, even if you haven't physically destroyed the tank or the infantry squad. They basically just give up. They surrender, they rout, they shoot their commander and bolt, they shoot each other, who knows what happens. That unit is toast. Okay, so the Germans now have 1, actually they have 2, but I only want to use 1. And you know what? It's now or never. Oh, you know what? I'm going to move. I'm going to move this Leopard forward a little bit. I'm going to see if he makes that crossing check. Yep. All right, so now he's there. He's going to just keep all this under fire. All right, so, actually, no, he's not. He's going to go right there. Vehicles do block line of sight with each other. So I want to stay out of this mortar's way. So there's the line of sight. He does have it. He has to shoot through a bunch of brush. And he does not have thermal sights. According to the rules I wrote down earlier. Check. He has... Nope. Alright, cool. He does have, however, a very accurate anti-tank missile. What anti-tank missile does the West German Army use? 1985. I believe it's a version of the HOT. Could be wrong about that. But I don't even care if I penetrate. If I at least hit this guy, my anti-tank missile has a damage of 11H. It'll never penetrate his armor. Actually, I'm on the flank. It might penetrate his armor. But I don't care. As long as I hit him, that 11 class anti-tank guided weapon, plus 10, 21, exceeds 18, puts an automatic morale marker on that tank that's already maxed out, that is out of gas for the Soviet commander. I am definitely spending my second to last command token on that martyr. Mr. Martyr, you might win the game, sir. Let's see what happens. Oop, I hit a D10. D10, I hit on a 3. I will, however, have to add 1 for shooting through all that brush. 4 up. 8! That missile hits. Again, 11 plus 10 equals 21, which exceeds his armor of 18. That automatically does 1 morale bonus. He is now maxed out. That tank bails. He's out of here. And that's the commander. So he's done. Okay. Then I'm going to save my last command token. I got plans for him. Alright, now, before I conclude the German turn. Alright guys, I'll be right back. I got to look up a rule real fast. It's what happens when a Warsaw Pact commander gets knocked out. It's not good. It's not good. Battle group morale check, fall back, platoon actions. I know there's a rule for this, guys. I just gotta find it. Dun, dun, dun. Losing my voice. Come on. Alright, I'm gonna look for just like another minute, and then I'm gonna say the hell with it. But I know there's a rule for this. Oh man. Battle group morale tests. I'm about to give up on this. Unless someone in the chat knows where this rule is. There's something about putting commanders in combat. No, I don't care about attack helicopters. I don't care about those cards yet. No, I'm not using the tactical advantage cards yet. Man. I'm not able to find it right now, but I know it's in here somewhere. I'm pretty sure that damn near ends the game. Command tokens and creating the battle group rule. Command units. Okay, I found it, finally, on page 7. However, committing a valuable commander into the battle has some risk. If the commander unit is destroyed either directly or through accumulation of morale markers, yes, the owning player must immediately make a dice roll to determine the temporary loss of command tokens. The loss occurred to a NATO, it's 1d6. If the loss is incurred by a Warsaw Pact battle group, roll 2d6 and take the highest roll. Oh, it's not like a cumulative. Okay, this is going to be unproportionately or disproportionately harsh against the Soviets because I'm playing with such a small game, but again, I'm just sort of testing out the rules here. So 2d6, I take the higher roll. I'm going to take the 6. They literally only have 3 tokens left. They just lost them temporarily. So the Soviets have pretty much lost their entire turn. So this guy, so basically this last German token, I was saving it for this martyr, for this leopard, in case this guy decided to come around and get smart. He can't fire at me. I know he's out of actions. The whole Soviet command force is kind of stunned at the moment. He's going again. I have to roll a 2+ because he had 1 command token applied against him. Actually, no. Applied against him. Okay, and here's the reason. I'm going to go through some of this rough crap, and I'm going to go for a flank shot. I'm going to hit him while he's still backed up on that edge. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can get a 2+. 2, barely. All right, so this guy is going to take another move and fire order. He's going to plow right through all this Soviet crap. Although there is Soviet infantry there. Be careful, dude. My infantry is still hiding out in that little machine shed. Okay, this is going to bring up another interesting rule. There is now enemy infantry, or there will be enemy infantry. Okay, there's no enemy infantry within 12 inches yet. But next turn, if there even is a next turn, there is going to be some Soviet infantry within 12 inches of this tank, and he has no friendly infantry equidistant or less. When that happens, this guy gets a number of penalties. His chance to hit goes down. Why? Because his loader and his gunner are looking everywhere frantically for the guy with the RPG popping out of a hedge. Okay, so his actual chance to hit goes down. His movement goes down because the driver is like, where's the landmine? He has to check every window and every house and every hedge and every bush and every shipping container and every tree for some asshole with an AT-5. So, but right now, if I understand the rule correctly, he's starting out more than 12 inches away. So he's going to get his full movement, although this is going to be it. I will have to cross. I'll take just 2. So I need to get just far enough. Oh, you know what? Those are trees. No, you know what? That's not going to work. Damn it. You can shoot through hedges, you can't shoot through trees. There's never going to be a line of sight there. Never mind. Also, it's dangerous. That puts that leopard in a lot of trouble. You don't put your tanks too close to enemy infantry without your own infantry support. And again, my German infantry is back in that building. So, after much ado, go back to the original plan. I would activate this guy, but he's already got a morale token on him. Oh, he's blowing up. I can get rid of this. Alright, so he did make the roll. I'm going to move him 12 inches. He's going to have to cross 2 hedges to do so. My German dice. One with the first hedge. Makes it. Second hedge. Makes it. And he still doesn't have line of sight because that burning BMP blocks it. Burning enemy tanks specifically do block line of sight. So it didn't really work either way for the Germans. I was trying to get a crack at that last Soviet tank. Alright, so that wraps up turn 2. Oh wait, these stay here. Stop taking these away. That stays there. That stays there. He's blown up, so I'm going to go ahead and remove those. once a unit is destroyed, they don't really need. All right, let me remove all these command tokens, leaving the morale markers. Okay, ready? The Germans start off with 6, because they did lose 1 martyr. So, Leopard, Leopard. Oh wait, that martyr doesn't count. I keep forgetting that. Okay, I think they still have all 7. So, infantry squad, Leopard, Leopard, Leopard. Infantry team that's hiding out in that machine shed. And they still have their commander. 2 bonuses for that. Okay, Soviets. Oh god. Infantry team. Support team. T-80. Infantry team. That's it. Because they don't have their commander anymore. I think there's a rule for the commander changing. That command lost when I rolled on the 2d6 and took the worst result, that was temporary. That pretty much ruined the rest of the Russian turn. So let me look up one more small rule. At the beginning of the next turn, designate a new unit to become the battle group commander. All temporary removed command tokens are returned to the battle group pool. Remember to remove command tokens for destroyed units. Okay, cool. So a new Soviet commander is designated. That T-80. So they get a commander back. Alright. Nevertheless, they're still down to less. They still only have now 1, 2, 3, 4. They should only have 6. Yeah, they only have 6. And I think the Germans still have 7. Germans have actually pulled ahead a little bit. 1, 2, infantry team, Leopard, Leopard. Infantry team, Leopard, Leopard. Another Leopard. Another infantry team and a commander. Hello, Dennis Cross. Novus Templar has rejoined us. I think you've arrived just in time to see the Russians kind of lose it on this one. And if I'm doing all the rules right. And I might be getting the rules technically right, but there are little hidden, like when I should have used a fallback order. Stuff like that, especially for the Soviets. There are rules that I may be getting technically correct, but I am really playing badly. Because this is literally my first time. Like I know I totally screwed up the Soviets first time. I know now exactly what I did. But again, literally my first turn of this game ever. Okay, so we're going to roll initiative. Oh wait, I didn't declare which was which. Soviet player, German player. 1 to 8, the Russians can't buy a break, man. They're just getting tuned up, fool. See, this is what happens when my Leopard 2s, for which I won my first golden button, by the way. Just saying. They've been sitting on the shelf now for almost 6 years. I've never played them until today. They've got a lot of pent-up rage. They're pissed off. They're ready to kick some serious ass. And these poor Russians, man, they're just... they're getting tore up something bad. Alright, so now the Russians are going to go ahead... I'm sorry, the Germans have initiative. They're going to go ahead and keep initiative. They're not going to pass it to the Soviets. Let's start spending German command tokens. Jen's got our Russian teddy bear on camera. He's pissed off. Jen, put him in that chair over there so everyone can see him. Put his eye patch on because he's clearly wounded. Will he fit without screwing up the table? Put his paws on top of the terrain just for fun. Because that terrain doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not going to break. The other one too. Put it on top of the building. You're going to do it right. There you go. That's fine. That's cool. Oh no! So here's poor Misha. He's not doing too well so far. See, oh, he's not even showing up on the camera. There he is. There's my opponent for the night. Poor Misha, the battle bear. He's already got one eye shot out. He's not doing too well today. Poor Misha. I'm sorry. The Russians will do better next time, I promise. They're not doing so hot today, though. Okay, so, well, if you're going to get him in camera, get him in camera. Okay, so, okay, the Germans are going to start spending their tokens to wrap this game up and close out the stream. Make sure I'm not missing anything else in the chat. All right, so very much. Thanks very much again, Dennis, for coming out. Well, I'm also like 20 minutes behind on my phone. That was weird. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. All right, Germans, it's time to close the deal on these fools. Activate. Peekaboo. Just edge just enough around to where he can see. He says, yeah, I saw that. Dude, I love just slamming down these clay tokens. And he's going to try and activate and take a shot. Now, as soon as this line of sight gets established, you have to shoot around that burning BMP. Try and get the camera a little bit closer. This is pretty important, and it might be the end of the game here. All right, so this Leopard is going to take a shot at that T-80. Well, actually, that T-80 is going to try and take a shot at that Leopard first. All right. To activate against an obscured vehicle, that means you need a 4+. So finding the Soviet dice, you need a 4+. Come on, Misha. Blow up at least one. Oh, I forgot to take a shot for my other T-80 destroyed. All right, I'll take a shot in just a second. There's a special rule, Dennis. You may have missed it. I do have an actual bar of shots set up over there. You probably can't see it in the glare. I'm taking a shot for every Soviet T-80 that gets brewed up. We did take out 2. I've taken 1 shot. I owe you guys a shot. I'll do it in just a second. Maybe I'll take 2 shots, because I might blow up this last T-80. Okay, so first this T-80 is going to go down swinging. Try to activate. He needs a 4+. Come on, Misha Bear, you want to do it? Sorry. Oh no, Misha, you lose it. I guess game is making me feel bad for the Russians. How about I never use these red dice again? I tell you what, save these for Panzerleader. Good God, if I rolled as many 1s for the Russians in Panzerleader as I've rolled today, if we were playing Panzerleader, they'd be in friggin' Paris by now. Okay. So that activation fails. He's going to go ahead and take a shot. He did move, and he's shooting an obscure target. Obscure target doesn't matter because of thermal sights. However, he did move, so that means he needs a 4+ on. I'm sorry, a 5+ on a D10. 1, he missed. The Russians finally catch a break. Okay. Germans spend their next command move. This other tank does have a command token assessed against it. Shoot again. Hopefully. Alright, so... Again. Maybe roll a different dice. Okay, this time the Soviet tank does activate. He takes a shot at the second Leopard 2. We'll see if he shoots, however. Now, he is taking opportunity fire against the moving tank. That gives him a -1. The intervening terrain is only like obscuring terrain, not obstructing terrain. Thermal sights, doesn't matter. So he's down to a straight up, I think he needs a 6+. Can you believe this is the first time a T-80 has actually fired at somebody this whole friggin' game? I literally don't know what they roll. 5+. +1 for, I guess, a moving target makes a 6+. 6+ to see if a T-80 actually hits a Leopard. A 9! See that, Jen? You brought Misha out. There's Misha over there, everybody. You brought Misha out, and now all of a sudden the Russians are doing better. They're inspired by their avatar, by their totem, and now all of a sudden the Russians are doing at least a little bit better. All right, so this Leopard 2 did take a hit. That's an 11-point anti-tank weapon. Becomes, or plus 10 equals 21, which exceeds. That is another morale marker against that German tank. Oh no! That German tank crew is not having a good day. Now, does he penetrate? It is 11 for the 125 smoothbore, right? Yes, it is. All right, so it's 11 versus 18 special armor. He is on the front, barely. So here we go. The Russians need a pretty good roll here. They don't get it. So 11 plus 5 is 16. 16 does not beat 18, so no additional effect. Now this guy is going to go ahead and take his shot. However, he does have 2 morale tokens. So I did move, and there's 2 morale tokens on him. That's 2 more penalties. He now goes from from a 4 to hit. He now needs a 7 to hit. Because he moved, that's 1, and he's got 2 morale tokens assessed against him. So it's a total of 3-point penalty. 4 becomes a 7. 7 plus needed to hit that last Soviet T-80. A 3, he missed as well. That's a lucky T-80 over there. Germans spend another command point. I got to get this infantry up here, because right now, Soviet infantry is closer to my Leopards. You guys probably can't see that. I got to move these guys up here to support these tanks, because Soviet infantry is closer to my tanks than my own infantry is. That's not good. The game does a great job at assessing all kinds of penalties against you for that. So, oh no, I knocked over one of my things there. Okay, so first of all, it's only 6 inches. That's what she said. And infantry never have to pay to cross terrain. So this is a little risky. In fact, can I use rapid movement? Just get across that dead ground there. Movement, infantry support team, rapid is 9. All right, so if I move 9 inches, which still isn't going to get me all the way. Oh, Jen's laughing at something back there. When you need that extra little something in the bedroom, use rapid movement rate. You go from 6 inches to 9 inches. And guess what? She's still not satisfied. All right, Sitrep podcast after dark. Yeah, that's probably not a great move. But actually, I'm gonna not use that. I'm gonna stay behind the tanks. I stay behind the tanks. Again, tanks do block line of sight. These guys are literally using the tanks as cover. Because they're in the open, and that's not good. That was him. Okay. So, do the Russians want to steal activations? If I rolled the Russian reaction phase and I rolled a 6, they now become the initiative player. I hope I haven't screwed that up, but I don't think I have. And if I have, that's a rules mistake I did make. Meanwhile, they have nothing. They have nothing really to shoot at. Let me be really cagey here, because I couldn't use the rapid movement rate. They're still screened from infantry and from enemy tanks. However, they can see that anti-tank team. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at them if I can hit them. I will have to shoot through some brush, so I'll get a negative for that. I now need a 6+ to hit. Am I within 12 inches? If I'm within 12 inches, I get to shoot twice. I was really kind of cheesy with the German move, so I'm right at 12 inches. I'll go ahead and say they don't, because I removed the German squad like 10 times. So they need a 6+ to hit. A 3 they missed anyway. All of a sudden, this whole German wing can't shoot for crap. I don't know what happened. all of a sudden they can't shoot very well. Alright, so what the Germans are going to do now, they're going to spend one of their remaining battle tokens on what's called battle group morale check. I'm going to roll battle group morale. Basically, the commander's going to try and rally his force, because I do have guys that have morale tokens on them. So here I go. I need to roll as high as possible. A 4, I get to remove 1 token from that leopard. That's going to make a difference when this guy tries to shoot at me on the Soviet turn, and I need to go ahead and react to that. So the German player now has 3 points left. Okay, the first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to move the camera so you can see the whole map. Pardon me, guys. Alright, so the first thing that's going to happen, the German infantry squad that's hiding in its maintenance shed is going to move up so that they're closer to the Leopard than the Soviet infantry that's hiding in the shrub. And that German tank is going to take a pot shot at that Leopard. Oh, I'm sorry, at that BMP. So first of all, and I'm going to save 1 token in reserve. Battle token, or command token, whatever. Alright, so first of all, does the Leopard hit the BMP? Survey says 6. Boom, we already know that the BMP cannot survive. Does the PMP explode or just sputter out? That PMP blows up like it's nobody's business. And that is going to be a morale token assessed against the infantry squad that is within 4 inches. Because they saw, heard, and smelled that. They smell all that cooking flesh. A destroyed armored vehicle, just take a look at some Ukraine footage. It is not a pretty thing. And that BMP died hard. Boom! So much so that the infantry squad, that at least they weren't inside the BMP, but they are kind of freaked out right now. Okay, so now I'm going to move forward with that infantry. Jen, I already got it. I already got it. They've been hiding in this building the whole time. They're going to use the 9-inch rapid movement. They're going to hug the inside of this shrub. Pretty much I just wanted to get them to where they're closer to the German tank, that Leopard. Closer to the German Leopard than the Soviet infantry is. The Soviet infantry, you might not be able to see it on camera, is hiding right back here. So this distance is now less than this distance, which makes a difference. Tankers get very, very nervous when enemy infantry is closer to them than friendly infantry. I love that about this game already. Okay, and that's going to be it. The Germans have 1 command token left because they spent this one on battle group command check. I have 1 token left. I'll put it here on the roof. I am saving that to react against the Soviets. Soviets have 4 command tokens. What do you know? The Soviets actually get a turn this time. This guy here, man, he's just... he is hurting for certain. He's the last tank left. He's outnumbered by 3 Leopards. And the BMPs are just blowing up all around him. This poor bastard. You know what? He's not going down without a fight. I'm going to activate his ass again. He already had 2 command tokens assessed against him. So now I have to roll above a 2 on a d6 to get him to activate. He does activate. He is going to shoot at this Leopard. This Leopard uses the very last German activation to counter. I need a 4 up. He fails. So he is going to shoot at that tank. Again, these Germans are starting to fall apart over here. This one guy, he's making a hell of a last stand. Alright. He wants to make Misha proud. So, okay, let's see what happens. Get a little bit closer so you guys don't have to look at my dining room floor. Okay, so he needs a 5 up. Intervening cover does not, there's no problem. He has been missed twice, so his morale is still intact. He has none of these little white chips next to him. He gets no penalties. He has to hit on a 5+. So he's probably going to hit. He's shooting at this guy again. I can't because he blocks line of sight. I have to hit the commander. A 4, he just missed. He needed a 5. He needed a 5, and he got a 4. Damn it. Russians can't buy a break. Just to try out the rule. Now, these guys do have 2 command tokens, or 2 morale tokens assessed against them. But these infantry are going to try an RPG against the Leopard's flank. Alright, so Soviet infantry do have a hit check of 5+. They do have the law special rule, which is basically an RPG. So they hit on a 5+, however they have 2 command tokens assessed against them, which makes it 7. And they're shooting at an obscure target. They don't have thermal sights. Makes it an 8. It's a long shot, but you never know. 8+ to hit with an RPG. A 2, they failed. Oh. Move 6 inches. Oh, he's too close. Ah! And I gotta move a different way. He has to literally move further away. Problem is, he can't fire an anti-tank gun, an anti-tank missile, and he cannot fire an anti-tank missile and move in the same turn. Anti-tank missiles you can never fire and move in the same turn. But he is set up to take flank shots on this Leopard and that Leopard. So we'll see what happens there. Soviets have 1 command token left. They're going to use it for battle group recovery. So they're going to roll a D10 and see if they can reduce some of their morale problems. Now guys, if you watch this later or if you're watching this now and you know this, I know that I have to select a unit to take pieces. Do I have to declare that before I roll? Because I could technically roll a 6, and yeah, I have to declare that. Do I have to declare that before I roll? We'll see if I even get anything. Just for fun, I'll declare it down here because the Germans are kind of getting sloppy down here. I'm gonna go ahead and declare it on this guy. I don't know if I have to declare it before I roll, but just for fun, I'm gonna declare it on this infantry team down here. Oh, 3. Okay, that's only 1 counter removed. I'll take it. And that concludes the turn. That ends turn 3. Alright, so take off all the command tokens. The Russians are still losing bad, but they're starting to mount at least a little bit of a defense. The Germans failed to close them down. I thought for sure turn 3 was going to be it. Alright, let me get by you here. Morale markers remain. Command tokens come off. Oh, and real quick. For that other T-80 that got blown up and never took the shot, long story short, Sitrep, who the hell was it? You can't see it very well. Long story short, Sitrep merchandise, shot glass. Oh, man. bulletproof Southern Comfort. That's for that T-80 commander that got blown up down there. There's one shot left to take over there on my little bar, because there's one T-80 left. I poured 3 shots before the game started. 1 shot for each T-80 brewed up. Alright. Let's see if we can close this out in turn 4. So the Germans haven't lost any additional units. Leopard, infantry squad, other Leopard, infantry squad. They still have their commander, so they get 2 bonus. No, the martyrs do not count, because they brought the infantry team on. Alright, the Soviets. Ooh, they did lose another BMP. Okay, so T-80, infantry team, anti-tank team. There's an infantry team back there. And how do they still... Am I miscounting this? 1, 2, 3, 4. How do they have 6 again? Did I accidentally give them too few last time? Because they lost a unit this turn. They should be 1 less than they had last time. 1, 2. Oh, you don't count the BMP. I'm not counting any BMPs. 1. Oh, because it's the BMP. It doesn't count. I'm still getting my head around that rule. Okay. So let's see who has initiative. Simple D10s. Soviet turn. Germans. Because of course I did. So it's a 4. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Probably not. And 8. Germans have won initiative, I think, for the 4th time running. Wow, we've got 7. Watchers, but no one's commenting. Guys, if someone's watching and if I'm making any rules mistakes, you guys gotta let me know. Okay, so we're probably gonna wrap it up here on turn 4. I didn't even mean to play a full game. The title of the stream was try the first couple turns, but this, even on my first try, this is a nice smooth system. This is a very small game. This was only like 370 points. 371 to 374, something like that. So, yeah. Alright, so the Germans have initiative. First thing the Germans are going to do, activate their commander. Activate their commander, Soviets are going to try to counter-activate. Soviets need a 4+. Because he's trying to activate against a vehicle that's obscured. Okay, apparently I was yelling into the mic there. Thanks, John. Alright, so the Soviets failed to activate. He's going to go ahead and take his shot. He needs a 4+ because this obscuring terrain does not matter. He has thermal sights and he has not moved. 4+. Boom, that's a hit. That's automatic morale marker against that T-80. And now I need an 8, 9, or 10. A 9! Huzzah! The last T-80 just blew up. We don't know if it blew up or yet, but he's definitely destroyed. 4, 5, or 6, he actually blows up. A 3. He does not blow up. The crew does escape. So that's a little bit of good news for the Russians. And that is another one of their commanders. Get out of there, you freak. There we go. Oh, it didn't blow up, so I won't take the turret completely off. Boom, he is smoked. That was a Soviet commander. He's actually the second Soviet commander. They already lost their first one. So now you roll 2d6. You take the worst result for the Soviet player. They're both 4s. So the Soviets just lost temporarily 4 of their command tokens. The entire Soviet turn is now 1 command token. Yeah, this game's over. Next activation. This fire team is going to engage these fools and try to shoot them up. Let's have an infantry battle. Are you guys even able to see that? Alright, so these guys are coming around here. That's going to be his activation marker. They saw that coming. They're going to use their very last activation marker, because they also lost their commander, to try and take a shot at them before they get shot at themselves. There goes our last marker. Infantry, that's obscured. They need a really good roll for that. Oh god, maybe I shouldn't have done this. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It does mean the Germans get to shoot first, but these Germans are not going to kill them in one shot. If I try to preempt, I'm going to fail because I have to roll a 5+, and then they lose their turn completely. That ain't going to work. So, here we go with the German turn. They can move and fire. They need a 5+. Russians are still technically obscured. So it goes up to a 6+. However, checking my cheat notes here. With them within 12 inches, moving infantry, oh, because I'm moving, I'm still only worth 1d10. Okay, no worries. Alright, so I got 1d10. I need to roll a 6+. 7. Did manage to score a hit. That's 1 automatic token. Now to convert that, infantry moving within 12 inches. He is in cover. I get 1d10 at a 5+. Oh my god, the Germans. They're just killing it. I told you that was Sergeant Steiner down there. Sergeant Steiner's grandson. Oh god. Okay, just for fun, I'm going to pass initiative over to the Soviet player. Soviet player is now going to use their last infantry token, their last command token. They're going to try and shoot back at those Germans before they get overrun and crushed. Unfortunately, they have 3 morale markers assessed against them. That means I have to add a +3 to their target to hit. And they're also up against obscured, so that's going to be a +4. That means I think they're going to need a 9+. However, the Soviet infantry is stationary. That's going to help. They get 2d10s instead of 1d10. However, their number is still a 5 + 4. Their number is still a 9+. But at least they get 2 dice to score a hit. They both fail. Alright. Soviet turn is basically over. And honestly, I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. Because from now on, it's just murder at this point. Just for fun. Try to reactivate that. No, actually, no, let me reactivate this guy. I do have a morale marker on him. So I have to basically roll a 2+. He does barely make it. Hi, guys. He's going to fire his cannon point blank at these infantry. Oh my god. I don't even know if this is legal. Oh god, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry. Yeah, so this leopard with a little bit of morale marker on him is going to try and take a shot. Okay, so the chance to hit infantry with a tank main gun is still a 4+. However, he is not concealed because I came around his cover. And it's, I do have to add 1 for his morale penalty. He does have a morale marker on him. So my chance down becomes a 5+. 3, he missed anyway, after all that. Activate. Again. Now, you already activated once, which means I have to roll a 2+ to activate him again. Succeeds. Put a shell into that fool before he shoots at me. This anti-tank missile. In fact, why didn't I do that? Just for fun, let's see how it works. Let's say the Russians magically had 1 more command token. I know they didn't. The Russians have already conceded defeat. Now I'm just trying to kind of learn the rules here. We're going to see if that missile can do anything. Well, it has to be stationary. Stationary anti-tank guided weapon. Let me guess, am I outside of 12 inches? He's within 12 inches. It's illegal anyway. All right, he'll shoot at that leopard then. Because that is also within 12 inches. Oh my god. He backs. But then if he backs up, he won't be able to shoot through the. Okay, never mind. Let me stop shooting. Because no matter where the Soviets shoot, even if they had a command token, which they don't, he's too close and he's too close. He could shoot at this one, maybe. That's 12 inches. We'll give it to him. Oh, that's in the rear. Oh my god. You know what? They don't have a command token. Alright, so let me stop hemming and hawing. I'm going to go ahead and try and take a shot. First I have to activate him. Did I already roll to activate? I don't remember. Did I already roll a 2+ on him? I don't remember. He rolls again. Alright, cool. So he's activated. 4+ because he has no modifiers assessed against him. Barely. He does hit. Cover does not help because he has thermal sights. So, I believe that's 2d10. Gun or anti-tank gun, a weapon versus infantry within 12 inches is 2d10. Oh, I need to roll another die, so I only rolled 1. 4 is definitely a hit. 2 is not a hit. Alright, so I got 1 hit. Which reminds me, this guy would have gotten 1 more hit. That's a hit. 4. And then I only scored 1 hit with this guy. 1 hit with this guy. Means I'm going to try to convert 2 hits. Or convert a hit into more morale damage. A gun at greater than or equal to 7 value, so yes, this definitely applies. Within 12 inches, I get. Oh, he already said that. I get 2d6, so 2 chances to convert that into another hit. 2 chances at a. He's not in cover. 2 chances at a 4+. 1 additional one. He now has a total of 5 morale markers on him. I think that's more than he started with. Soviet infantry has a morale of 4. Soviet infantry is destroyed. They got caught in a pinch between infantry and tanks. They just couldn't take it. Okay, meanwhile, this guy only scored 1 hit against that unit. He's within 12 inches. So that's 1 additional already. Then I'm going to try to convert that into actual morale damage. I get 2 chances because I'm within 12 inches and I'm firing anti-tank with a value more than 7. I get... Now that doesn't give you 2 extra command points. You just get... Or 2 extra morale tokens. You just get 2 chances to score additional damage. So he's now at 3. And I can't remember what his morale is. His morale is exactly 3. So he's basically destroyed. Okay, the Germans are going to go ahead and try to reactivate him again. I now have to roll above a 2. Because he already had 2 markers on him. He rolls a 4. He goes ahead and fires. I get 2d10 at this range. 2d10 at 4 up. I failed both of them. 2 3s. That German tank is going to try and fire at that infantry down there. The entire Soviet army is now down to 1 anti-tank team and 1 pinned down infantry team. By the way, we are well past the break point for the battle group. Now we're just having fun. So this game is technically long over. So I need 4+. I don't think I'm within 12 inches down there. No. So I only get 1d10. 9, that's a hit. Okay, so that's 1 automatic command point or morale point. I get 1d6 to try and convert it. Infantry in the open, or concealed, I need a 5+. I don't get it. So it's only 1 more command token. 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1 command point left. I'm going to spend it on that infantry down there to move them up and engage those Soviets down there with small arms. So, excuse me. Sorry about that. Let me get past you. You guys probably can't even see what I'm talking about. I tell you what, once you get the hang of the system, it's awfully fast. Now, again, I'm not using everything. I'm not using anti-tank helicopters. I'm not using off-board artillery. I'm not even using the tactical advantage cards. There are a few things I'm not using. But I think I'm getting the hang of the system. So we can't use rapid movement and fire. I can only use 6 inches. So I'm going to move 6 inches. Damn it. And then open fire on those Soviet infantry back there. Oh! I keep forgetting. I blew up the last Russian T-80. Long story short. Oof. There we go. All 3 shots. Pun totally not intended. Have now been taken. Because all 3 T-80s are smoking. Actually, 2 are smoking. 1 of them blew up. But anyway. Actually, no. All 3 T-80s just have regular damage on them. This BMP blew up. That BMP blew up. Yeah, this BMP literally exploded all over the place. The BMPs did not do well. Spoiler alert. Can you say you're surprised? Have you seen any footage from the Ukraine? You see what happens to BMPs. Okay, so let's hurry up and finish up. We'll do that last bit of infantry down there. They need a 5 up to score a hit. Make that a 6 up because that Soviet infantry does have cover. So a 6 up to score a hit. They did get a 7. That's a hit. 1 automatic damage point. And then, am I within 12? I don't think it matters. Actually, no, I remember now. It doesn't matter. But technically, yes, I am within 12. To convert my 1 hit into an additional morale point, I think I need a 5 up. I get a 1. Alright, so that's it for the turn. Both sides have now used up all their command tokens. That concludes, I think it was turn 4. And I think we will go ahead and call this one, guys. In fact, by the rules, if you go by meeting engagement rules, in the scenario descriptions for 7 days to the River Rhine in a meeting engagement, once you take 2/3 of your breakpoints, the game's over. Which the Soviets, the entire Soviet force is now a BMP team. I'm sorry, an anti-tank guided weapon team that has 3 tokens assessed against it. Versus, and a rifle team that also has 3 command tokens against it. 3 Leopard 2s, 2 Martyrs, 1 Martyr, 2 infantry teams. Yeah, the Soviets have lost this one hard. Sorry, Misha. You lost, like, really bad. Honestly, I think the game was lost before you came out. Alright? But in all seriousness, yeah, that's pretty much what we got here for today on the Sitrep podcast. I don't have the autofocus on, so sorry if this is out of focus. But yeah, the Germans are still in pretty good shape. Some of their tanks have taken a little bit of damage. Their infantry team had taken a little bit of damage, but I shook it off with the morale token. They're doing pretty well up there. That mortar way over there, way in the back, he like literally never did anything. Way back there by that little maintenance shed. He pretty much carried his infantry up to the battlefield, and that was it. So good on him. And yeah, that was it. So if you guys were watching the earlier part of the stream, you will see where I rolled. I think it was, Jen, how many 1s in a row was it for the Russians? It was a lot. So it was pretty rough. Time for canister fire. Oh, hello, Ben Johnson. Welcome. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, so hopefully this will be up tomorrow. Hooray for the Germans. Hell yeah, man. Um, so I'm looking at the comments, guys. First of all, thanks everybody who came out. We've got a pretty good audience, especially for a Wednesday. Our Wednesday streams don't do very well usually because, I mean, half our audience is in the UK, and it's like, what is it? It's 2 in the morning in the UK right now. So yeah, we don't get too much of our UK audience on our Wednesday streams. So thanks very much everybody for you who did come out. And thanks very much for everybody who came out. Thanks for everyone who dropped a comment. There are more people watching than are commenting. So hopefully some of the people watching are people from the 7 Days to the River Rhine official Facebook group who are watching this and, laughing at all my rules mistakes. I don't know if I made too many rules mistakes. I know I definitely made gameplay mistakes. Like, I don't know the rules. I know the rules well enough to play correctly. I definitely don't know the rules well enough to play well. Because holy balls did I screw up the first Russian turn. The whole point of the first Russian turn was to rush up, take the center of the battlefield, have all these open fields of fire, and then when the Germans came up the street, open fire and light them up with reaction fire. I forgot to save command tokens to do that. So the exact opposite happened. The Russians rushed up, stopped, poured a vodka, lit a cigarette, and thought the war was over. And the Germans rolled up, and by now the Russians are out of command tokens, and the Germans just said, Auf Wiedersehen, meine unsere Freunde. Sie sind on fire jetzt, ja! And they all got blown up, so. The Russians literally lost at least one T-80 and I think one BMP, like right off the bat. And it went downhill from there fast. That on top of some really bad die rolls for the Soviets. They didn't do well. But by now we have been up for, we've been up for over 2 hours. So thanks very much everybody who came out. Thanks very much for all the comments. If I made any rules mistakes, please let me know. I will now print out the tactical advantage cards so I can get them ready to go. And I know what's going on with the tactical advantage cards. I know that's one part of the game I didn't read. You guys have seen my chest, you guys have seen my case a million times. You know all the miniatures I have. I have tons of Americans, tons of Iraqis, even some Egyptians, some U.S. Marines, some Israelis, lots more Germans, lots more Soviets. I got tons of Cold War stuff that I can use for the system. So we're definitely in good shape when it comes to miniatures as far as 7 Days to the River Rhine. So I've now tried the game. Hopefully I did it 80% correct. If you see anything I did wrong, drop it in the comments. A link to our Discord is in this description of this video. Join our Discord. If you guys want to talk about anything I may have done wrong in the game, again, I am a noob and I am eager to learn. I am ready to be everyone's Padawan when it comes to 7 Days to the River Rhine. So, no worries there. If you're watching this video and you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like, because it does help us out. We've been doing really well on subscriptions lately. Please help us maintain our momentum. Give it a like. That helps us get recognized by the algorithm, and YouTube kind of, propagates our video out to more people. The more likes that a video gets, the more people see our videos, the more people might potentially subscribe, and it helps us drive towards our ongoing goals. So thanks very much for that. But for now, this is Oriskany Jim signing off. We are rounds complete. Tango Mike for listening. We'll be in touch very soon. We will have a podcast coming out on Saturday, and we have some more live gaming ready for you guys on Sunday. It won't be 7 Days to the River Rhine. We're going to go to some of our other content, but let me tell you something. I do like 7 Days to the River Rhine from what I've experienced so far. Definitely liking the feel of this game. So we will definitely be coming back to this, because again, I've got tons of miniatures that I kind of haven't really been able to use. Because I didn't really have the right system for it. Looks like I finally found one. So thanks very much, Great Escape Games, for coming out with a great game. Thanks very much for everyone who came out to our video and dropped a comment, or just came out and checked this out. Please remember to give us a like if you're so inclined. Drop a comment, share, throw it out to your other Facebook friends. Whatever it is you do, we definitely appreciate it. Whatever you guys are doing, please keep doing it, because we're doing pretty well lately. Very, very happy with the status of our community and the progress of our channel. But for now, again, this is Oriskany Jim signing off. Tango Mike for watching. We'll be in touch very soon. Take care, everybody.